and why do we fast? We again remember as we begin our Lenten journey that our Lord Jesus said on Ash Wednesday to pray, fast, and give alms. And so in this talk, we want to explore a little bit the theme of fasting. Of fasting, of the three things that our Lord exhorted us to, prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, fasting perhaps, it's in the middle, is the one that's most overlooked. We, of course, know that during Lent we fast on Fridays, and we fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, of course. But we perhaps relegate it to that, and we perhaps limit it to giving up that chocolate or that giving up of that favorite dish, and we put fasting to the side. It's a subject that we don't want to talk about. It's not comfortable as a theme to talk about. So my brothers and sisters, it's important that we plumb the depths a little bit of fasting. We, perhaps from our history of the church, we know that there were the hermits and those who went to the desert in imitation of Christ after the fall, especially after the fall of the Roman Empire, or more particularly after the legalization of Christianity. Many men and women wanted to better imitate Christ. They weren't dying for the faith per se anymore under Roman persecution, so they looked for other ways to suffer, to deny themselves the things of life in imitation of the Lord. And so we naturally hear different stories of extreme penances, of extreme fasting that men and women did in the desert. Now, even to this day, of course, we have plenty of men and women who do fast. And sometimes it's on bread and water for a certain day of the week, or 2 days a week, or whatever it might be. But the importance of fasting, my brothers and sisters, I think we need to go back to the why. And the why is because our Lord himself fasted. Our Lord himself fasted and invited us to fast with him. Now, you recall that he went to the desert to fast for 40 days, and he was tempted by the devil. And then he certainly fasted on the cross. He didn't eat that day. He thirsted, we know. And our Lord says to each one of us, you should fast also. You should fast. Now, why? We have to remember that the whole mystery of Jesus Christ is a mystery that we share in. It's not like he's out there in some 2,000 years ago suffered for us, died for us, and rose again, and we're somehow just benefiting from a distance from that sacrifice and his life. That's not the full story. Remember that by taking on human flesh and living truly man, truly God, that everything of the life of Christ is important for us now. Our eating has divine value. Our work has divine value. He worked in a carpenter shop. Our suffering, as we previously said, has divine value, that we can offer our suffering with the Lord, accepting it and offering it for the good of others. Also, our self-denial and our fasting has divine value in imitation of Jesus Christ. So we should never underestimate the value of fasting, first of all. Now, on a human side, of course, we know that fasting also has some certain characteristics and certain value to it. Think of the Olympics. There is no Olympic athlete to date that will go to the Olympics, win the medals, without having sacrificed, without having fasted. And there's different things you can fast from, of course. We usually think of food. And what Olympic athlete does not have some particular diet? They have to fast, usually for years. Now, also fasting with their time. Dedicating time they would have liked to have had maybe with friends, to dedicate instead to the gym, or to the pool, or to the ski slope. They had to fast and give up something they didn't want to give up, perhaps, something that was good, for something that they thought was better. And so, my brothers and sisters, we have to remember that fasting has a very good disciplinary effect. Because of our fallen nature, because of our passions that can get out of control at times, be it our imagination, be it our sexuality, be it our lust for power, or for self-affirmation, or for popularity, etc., whatever it might be, fasting which forms a power of self-restraint, of discipline, of self-control, strengthens us as men and women. The man or woman who does not have self-control, who cannot say no to an impulse, be it to look at another woman when he's married, or at pornography for that matter, be it cannot say no to having that extra snack, who cannot say no to being impatient or criticizing another person, well, that person is a slave to something that is overarching, is controlling him. So we have to ask ourselves first and foremost here at this point in Lent, what am I a slave of? Where do I need greater self-discipline? And fasting can be a great means. It's not the only means to becoming a perfect person of self-restraint, of greater imitation of Jesus. Of course, we need to pray. Of course, almsgiving, of mercy-mindedness, of being good to others, is also a key element there. But fasting has a very deep effect. Try it if you're not. Try it once. Withhold something that you really don't want to give up. Try giving it up and see if you can do it. Ask God for strength to do it. And see that instead of angst and instead of total preoccupation day by day, you rather grow in freedom. You rather grow in peace of conscience. Because why? Because I am able to say no to the impulses of my heart, the impulses of my imagination, the impulses of my passions, which are not meant to rule you. Remember, Jesus is free, and he wants you and me to be free as well. So, fasting has this important effect of self-discipline, which we need as followers of Christ. Certainly, in times of temptation, we need that self-discipline, and certainly before the will of God, which is not always easy at times, as you and I know, to say yes to God when things are tough, when we don't want to do maybe what he wants at times. That fasting will have given us strength to follow Christ and do what he wants us to do. So I think those are some ideas that can help us understand why fasting is very important. Above all, to be Christ-like, to follow God's will and plan as he himself has done and has taught us to do as well. Now, what should we fast from would be the natural next question. And for that, we can first of all say that fasting from the physical things, especially from food and drink, is a tradition. It's a tradition that we can't discount. It's probably the most common fast that you and I have done. And in Lent, it's probably the most popular one. Fasting from chocolate, fasting from alcohol, fasting from whatever that favorite dish is that you like. And that is a good thing. And we certainly don't want to discount that. That we need, it's always recommended to fast at times from those things that we would like, from those things that we crave for, especially from food and drink at times. You know, to, if possible, every meal that you have, that you go to fast even in a hidden way from something. Maybe it's just simply from not taking that second Oreo cookie, or from taking that second glass of wine, which maybe no one but you know. But yet the Lord sees that fast, and he will bless you for it. So the physical fasting is good, and it will be helpful, and we should do it. But I think this Lent, my brothers and sisters, it would be remiss if, like Pope Francis in a recent address, that we need to highlight that there are other ways to fast. Now, one of the most important ways to fast, and things we should fast from always, is sin. And we can, I think, see it as a fast. That we never have a right to sin. In our society that's taught us, you just do it, you just experience it, that you have a right to whatever you want. And our Lord says, no, you don't. You don't have a right to sin. Never. And so we have got to make a decision to fast from sin. And it's a decision only you can make. I can't make it for you. God can't make it for you. You have to make that decision. And then with God's help, to go one day, one moment, one act, one circumstance at a time, saying yes to God, no to whatever takes us from God, which we call sin. So fasting from sin. Now, you can also fast from, for example, imperfections that you have, personality quirks, things that get on other people's nerves. that maybe perhaps you can't control at times. But nonetheless, you can try to make a decision to fast from them and to give attention to them. You can also fast from perhaps your dreams and your plans. We all have them. I would prefer to go to this vacation. I would prefer to work in this type of job. I would prefer. It's always about us, isn't it? But yet our Lord wants us to focus on Him. That we come and turn around, to have a paradigm shift. Lord, your will be done. Lord, what is your plan for my life? Lord, what do you want? Lord, help me to see through your eyes and not through my self-focused eyes. Lord, help me to fast from myself so that I can experience life in you. That's another way we can fast. There's so many ways that we can fast. The point here, I think, my brothers and sisters, is that this Lent is a time to fast. So don't worry if you haven't been fasting up till now. We say to God, God, I'm sorry, forgive me if I haven't been fasting. Let's make a decision today. Lord, help me to fast. Jesus, give me a heart that fasts like you. And give me some concrete ideas, Lord. Help me to see where I need to fast. If there's sin in my life right now, Lord, I give those to you. Lord, I'm going to cut those out. I'm going to give up that pornography, Lord. I'm going to give up those other sins that you know really well, Lord. I'm going to give up that backbiting, or I'm going to give up that lack of forgiveness towards my neighbor, towards my family member. Ask the Lord for strength. Ask the Lord for clarity, what He wants you to fast from this Lent. And with Him at your side, with Him on His hand on your shoulder, you can make that commitment. And you can keep that commitment one day at a time. Getting up if you fall and reconfirming, Lord, I trust you. Lord, I want to fast. So Lord, I give you my life. And we hear His exhortation. If you want to follow me, take up your cross every day. Deny yourself. Another way He could say that. Fast daily and come. Follow me. God bless you.